That's what I'm talking
第5話
about.
始まります。
So, let me get this straight. You have a secret affair that you've been blackmailed with. But because you didn't give in, you feel you have a death threat, and it'll be fulfilled soon.
Exactly as you say, dear detective. No wonder they say
ループス
some
に
good
広
things
告へ出
about
るよう
you.
に脅迫があったとのこと。
What do you mean some? Are they saying
で
bad
すが、
things
初め
too?
から承認される気がないようにも思います。
You know, that's not what I meant. I don't think we should go into that, Sonny. What you don't know won't hurt you, right?
Don't stick your beak in, Marty.
Everybody's the subject of silly gossip, aren't they? Your partner's right. It's better to let it go.
Fuzzy heavens. Right. So, there's this premiere, am I right?
Yes, the premiere of El Wolf at the magnificent Ivory Palace. Have you heard of it?
For all things feathered, of course. We're not even allowed in there. That place is the most exclusive movie theater in town.
Come on, you'll be my guests. Of course they'll let you in, silly.
Sonny, we have to do it.
What? Why should we?
Because this good man is in danger.
Ah, you just want to go to a fancy party with movie stars, don't
No.
Marty?
Well,
I think we'll take the case, dear Mr. Lupus.
splendid.
If you'll excuse me for a moment, I'll discuss this with my partner.
No, just go ahead.
What the cluck are you doing?
I'm enthusiastic.
Don't be enthusiastic. The whole thing is dog shit.
But, Sonny, he's in danger.
Really?
Well, whether he is or not, do you think we have a choice? Blood Boil's gonna kill us and use our bones as toothpicks. And besides, when was the last time you went to a movie premiere?
Me? Never. And that's not an accident.
You just take a deep breath and you hang in there, old bird.
What's gonna happen to Frank?
Well, it's sad to say, but I think he can wait.
Maybe you're right.
Hearing this is like sweet oil to my feathers.
Okay, we'll help you.
Now you're talking. I knew I could count on you. You won't regret it. I'll pay.
Well, if we add it all up, the trip, the time, and of course the costs. I mean, that won't be necessary. I guess we'll be doing this in our police capacity and out of the goodness of our hearts.
How nicely summed up, Santino.
Yeah.
So, see you at the party?
Very well, detectives. Can't wait.
Don't get yourself killed, okay?
Well, your sense of humor, it's one of a kind.
プレミアの上映に出席することになったサ
I
ニ
need
ー。
to ask you a favor.
モニカについてきてほしいとお
Blood
願い
Boil
しま
wants
す。
us to go to the movie premiere,
So far, so
but we have other things to do. So I'm gonna tell Marty to...
that's...
I need you.
You find...
No, not like that. Listen, without...
How so?
And I can't stand the crowd. I don't like crowds. I need some...
Oh, so I'll be...
something like
子守
that.
役ですね。
I'm really...
Yeah, okay. You're right.
But I'll do it.
What?
I'll be there, Sonny.
What? No, you don't...
I'll be there, okay?
Yeah.
You'll owe me a coffee for it. A normal...
You got a deal, Mom.
Hey, I brought...
You know what? You were right. I should take...
Are you kidding me?
Sorry, buddy.
Mon?
Leave.
そして映画館に到着。
So we were standing in front of this huge, shiny building. 3 out-of-place figures, full of doubts and questions. Meanwhile, the guests kept arriving, the cream of Clawville's high society. If I can say one thing, I certainly wasn't expecting this twist. But there was nothing to be done. I knew I had to swallow my distaste and survive the night, somehow. I couldn't wait to see Monica. I hoped she would keep her promise.
Hello, boys.
Monica, what are you doing here?
There's someone here who needed me. So here I am.
Wow, really? So, who's the lucky guy? Wait, what? No. You're not saying that you and...
Oh, it's not a date, Marty. Sonny just asked me to be here tonight.
For backup.
Yeah, for backup.
Ah, I get it. Backup.
Marty, please.
Can you feel that? Something in the...
Shut up, Marty.
Hey, that's not your line.
Hey, thanks, Mon.
You're welcome, Boss Bird.
But really, thanks, sweetheart.
Anytime.
What are you guys whispering about? Not talking behind my back, are you?
What? Oh, Marty, come on. Let's go say hi to some fancy-ass celebrities.
Ooh, yeah.
Sonny.
この虎がチキンポリスの本を書いた人です。
You're both right.
I've been looking forward to meeting the
このハリセンボンは映画監督。
police in the flesh.
なかなかシュールです。
You know who we are? You're Charles Rufus Vidor, the director of El Wolf and a myriad of other movie wonders.
Looking at his partner, I'm not surprised he knows who we are, Marty. Hello, Meredith.
Sonny. Martin. How surprising to see you here.
Well, it's a surprise to see you too, believe me. How are you? Looking for inspiration for a new book?
As a matter of fact, one of her books will soon be made into one of my movies.
One of the Chicken Police stories?
No, not at all.
You know, at one time, I would have liked to have made a film about you chickens, but it wouldn't have been good for business. You understand, all those nasty rumors.
Nasty rumors?
They say all kinds of things, am I right? For instance, that you're the reason these horrible criminal gangs are flooding the city.
Oh, is that all? It's nothing.
And that you may have even planned the assassination of the head of the Westler Empire at the request of a rival gang. But I wouldn't bore you with such nonsense. Animals can be cruel, can't they?
That is an understatement.
Yeah? Well, that's a little more disturbing indeed, but, if you ever want to make a movie about the famous Chicken Police, we're ready.
Oh, no, young man, that ship has sailed. But I have heard of 2 other aspiring detectives.
Please. No. Not them.
Moses and Plato. That's their name. Well, I think it was.
Oh, that's it. It's over. Kill me, Sonny, please.
It's for the best, Marty. Filmmaking isn't a life insurance policy these days.
Well, what do you mean?
We're here for a reason, but the rest, unfortunately, is classified information.
I see. Interesting.
Our life is always like that. All excitement and danger. Now, if you'll excuse me. Well, Lewis, everything all
このル
right?
イスはサニーの友達兼パトロンみたいなものです。
They say the film is going to be a
サニーに部屋を貸してくれています。
masterpiece, and the king is supposed to be arriving soon.
I can't wait.
Oh, don't be so cynical, Sonny. Being nice to the king can't be all bad.
You know, I don't think we're gonna find common ground, but, you never know, huh?
Now you're talking. Finally something positive from you, old friend.
Must be the champagne.
But we haven't had any yet. Really, where can I get a drink around here?
Haven't you learned anything from last time?
I don't want it for myself, but I'm sure it'll loosen you up a bit.
You don't want to see me drunk, Marty.
I'd like to see you both drunk. Okay, that sounded weird.
A little.
Just a teeny weeny bit.
Finally, you're here. I've been worried to death.
To death.
Oh, please, it's not funny.
It is a little.
Have you had a good look around? Have you questioned everyone?
Questioned? Why would we do that?
You might find out something.
This isn't how it works. We're here to observe, that's all. And we don't get paid overtime for that.
I told you, money's not a problem.
Don't worry, you'll be fine. We're here to look after you.
Stop being such a chicken, Cassidy. The chicken police are here.
You... Cassandra Ruby Faye.
To the best of my knowledge, I am.
And you know who we are?
Silly. Of course I do. Who wouldn't?
Hold me, Sonny, I think I'm gonna faint.
Hold still, you big oaf. Excuse me, ma'am. My partner's a bit of a bird brain.
You're funny.
Are we? Well, that's good to know.
Ignore Cassidy. The Premier is getting to him. It's like that before all his big movies.
Well, anything, try to enjoy the evening. We'll be here if you need anything.
Thank you, Detective. See, Paw Paw? You'll be all right in here.
Don't call me that in front of people. I've told you 1,000 times.
An impressive entrance, if I ever saw one.
Indeed it is.
Who could that woman be? You don't think she's...
Yes, I do, Marty. She's the king's new advisor. And from the looks of her, probably a lot more than that.
Oh, hush my heart. Why is there always a heartbreaking femme fatale behind everything?
Maybe the world is testing you.
Yeah, maybe. But if Laura finds out what kind of environment I was in, she'll bite my head off. And I mean that.
Come on, Marty. Just take a deep breath and enjoy the evening. So, shall we talk to the king?
Well, you don't have to ask me twice.
Let's get to it. Your Majesty, dear lady.
If it isn't the world-famous chicken police, Sonny Featherland and McMurdoch.
McChicken. Milady, Marty McChicken.
Ah, yes, exactly. Marty McChicken, silly me.
Don't worry about it. I keep forgetting it myself.
Are you investigating even now? If you ask me, with all the sinners here, the whole hall could be arrested right away.
Well, it's nice to finally meet you, ma'am. You know, we hear a lot about you.
I can imagine. All bad things?
Nothing else.
Hello, gentlemen. I've heard a lot about you, too. Indeed.
This is truly an honor, Your Majesty.
Come on, cut the chit-chat. It's so not like you. I've read a couple of your books, so I know exactly what kind of chaps you are.
Ah, those books again. Well, sir, if I may...
And what adventures! I really admire and envy you fellows. So don't play innocent with me. I know you're a pair of hard-boiled, rotten eggs.
Sir, with all due respect...
Don't be so modest with me, Mr. Featherland. And you certainly don't need to pretend in front of such a spiritual leader. You see, she can see right into your soul.
You say, spiritual leader?
Hector always exaggerates. There's a small community of souls of which I am indeed the guide. It's called the New Unity Church.
Yeah, I think I've heard of it.
You know, you're much shorter in person than I thought you'd be, Mr. Featherland.
That's why I bring Marty with me everywhere, Your Majesty.
Oh, yes, the humor. I've heard legends about your, unique sense of humor.
Unique. That's a fine way of putting it.
But allow me to introduce formally how shall I say?
I am his advisor and spiritual guide.
You see? That's exactly it. She always helps me out when I'm in trouble.
Really? That's interesting.
It was nice meeting you, Miss...
Kayla.
Just Kayla?
Lady Kayla, to be more precise.
Ah, I see. Lady Kayla.
Now, if you'll excuse us, we need to go mingle. It's sort of a mandatory protocol.
Of course, we understand. Have a nice evening. We'll probably run into each other again.
Of that, I'm sure.
Did you notice...
Her legs? Who wouldn't?
No, not that, you dummy. That the king hardly dared speak beside her.
No wonder. I couldn't spit or swallow around her.
It's a bit strange, though. Hector was never the talkative type, but now she answers for him.
Isn't that a counselor's job?
Maybe. But I'm suspicious of this dame.
Of course you are. You can tell she's a demon a mile away, but that doesn't necessarily make him an evil conspirator.
That sentence was a bit contradictory.
2 roosters live in my body, constantly fighting with each other.
Listen, Marty.
Wow, why are you so serious now?
We're splitting up.
What do you mean we're splitting up?
In the heat of the party, Blood Boil won't even notice you're gone. If I disappear, he'll notice it right away.
Oh, I see. You mean Frank?
We have to find his body. To do that, we need to know where the factory is and how to get inside.
Okay, great plan.
Is it?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I thought you didn't want to leave the fancy...
Come on, Sonny. You know me better than that. Fancy parties or not, Frank was our friend. And this case is more important.
It is. You're right.
Thanks for trusting me, boss.
Who else am I gonna trust?
Okay, I'm on my way. If I hurry, I can catch the midnight bus.
Bus? Get the hell out of here. Take my car.
You're serious? I've never driven her before.
Just keep her in one piece, okay?
And keep me in one piece too, if possible.
Yeah, that's important too. Now go.
Okay, Boss Bird. I'll come back for you, and I'll find out what I need to find out.
You do that, young fella.
マーティと別れて、モニカと一緒に行動します。
Are you two together? I couldn't predict this in my books. You know, you've always been a minor character.
Miss Marble. Really? Interesting. You've always been, rather minor, too.
Huh? Monica's just helping me with a few things.
Of course. And what can I help you with?
Mr. Lupus has been threatened by someone.
Really? Oh well, I'm not surprised.
And you have no idea what these threats were all about? A photograph.
Yes, and?
You have any idea what kind of picture it was?
No point in playing this game. It was a picture of me. Or rather, it was him and me, in a quite unambiguous position. But I didn't know what the picture would be used for.
You mean you knew they were taking a picture of you?
Of course, Birdie. Why else do you think I would have had an affair with that ripoff? The fur on the back of my neck stands up just thinking about it.
And somebody paid you. Who was it?
I have no idea. I never saw them. All instructions came in letters. And the money. A lot of money.
Damn letters. Did you see anything interesting in them?
Look, I'm a crime fiction writer. I know exactly what I'm supposed to notice. There is nothing you can use as a clue in your little investigation.
And how did you manage to reel Mr. Lupus in?
That wasn't hard. That tail-wagging dog is a sucker for all things feline. As soon as he sees a whisker or a fluffy tail, he loses his mind. I feel sorry for poor Faye, because she'll never get that out of her husband's head.
I see. Well, thank you, Meredith. You've been surprisingly helpful.
You're welcome, Detective. And Miss Rosen. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Oh my goodness, aren't you...
Shit.
Monica Rosen? I mean, Monica Rosen, the velvet...
The what?
Hello, Cassidy.
Wait a minute. You know each other?
That's an understatement, my friend.
Oh, no. Don't say you...
What? No, Sonny, what do you...
Well, you know, Monica was my... I mean...
Yeah, you can say it out loud. I was your father's mistress, a lifetime ago.
Come on, dear Monica, it wasn't that simple.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. And that's the end of the subject.
Yes. Yes, of course. I get it. I understand, of course.
Good.
So what is this, velvet thing?
The Velvet Queen? Oh, well, I think you better hang on, Mr. Featherworld, because...
All right, stop right there. Sonny, come on, I want to talk to you in private. Cassidy, I'm coming for you too.
Hey, okay, take it easy.
Sonny...
I'm a little dizzy, I admit.
I don't blame you. Look, Sonny, what you heard is true.
You used to be his father's lover?
Just for a little while. I was just a young girl who'd been thrown out of the country and into the big city. I was a waitress in all sorts of dives for a while. And
the Velvet Queen.
that was my stage name. A lifetime ago. And Lupus's father was kind, charming, rich, and a scumbag con man.
I see.
It was just a fling. Lots of money, glitter, and glamour. Movie premieres, expensive hotels, and then... well, in the end, the guy ran off and took everything with him.
What do you mean?
Well, I didn't have much money, but you know me. I'm thorough and organized, and when I do something, I do it right. I had savings. Quite a lot of savings, and...
And he left you broke?
Yep, that's it. I had to start all over again. But I was just a little girl. I had my whole life ahead of me. So
Does this have anything to do with what happened at the range? That you were so upset?
the whole town is covered in El Wolf commercials. And Cassidy's face, of course. When I knew him, he was just a young pup. But he's grown up now, and he reminds me of his father a lot. Not a great memory.
I'll bet. You know, it's weird, but somehow I never thought about you having a life before the police.
Look, Sonny, if you'd rather go it alone from now on, I totally understand.
What? No, of course not, Mon. It's out of the question. I still appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Boss Bird. And I'm sorry to dump all the dark stains of my past on you.
Come on, Mon. I've been doing the same with you since the day we met.
Well, that's true.
But if Marty finds out...
I beg your pardon?
What? No, nothing. My beak is sealed.
Right. Let's, forget about all this and focus on what we're here for, okay?
Okay.
モニカの半生も気になりますが、ケイラの尋問もあります。
Kayla. She has an almost otherworldly superiority, with the king as her lapdog. It'd be easy to appeal to her vanity, but it could backfire. This woman is smart, very smart, and she's cunning too. Not just because she's a fox. So I'll have to be careful. I need to soften her up first, work on her ego, and when she's vulnerable, hit her with the hard questions. I may never get the chance to question an animal of her class again, so I'd better do this right. Are you here in a private or an official capacity?
You mean, am I the king's companion or his advisor?
You could put it that way.
Foggy phrasing, foggy answer. Both. And maybe neither.
I'm gonna be in trouble here.
I'm just kidding, Detective. And how about you? Are you here as a police officer or as a simple citizen?
As a simple citizen, I'd be snoring in an armchair with a half-empty bottle in my hand.
You can't be that cliched.
Unfortunately, I am.
Well then, ask me anything you like. In your official capacity.
How can I refuse that offer? Let's see.
無難なところから行きますか。
So how did you end up in cahoots with the king? Maybe you met at a party like this.
You know, these are difficult times. And it's difficult for Hector too. I mean, for the king. When he came to me, he was almost in shreds.
He came to you?
About 2 years ago. My church was in its infancy, but I was already holding seminars and private audiences for those in need of spiritual guidance.
Would the king have needed such a thing?
Oh, yes, very much so. Spiritual and emotional guidance and cleansing, as does the city. You see, the king is much more concerned about the fate of the city than many animals give him credit for.
I see. What kind of church are we talking about, beyond what the slogans say?
The new Unity Church offers unity in a world where everything is about separation and hostility.
Which means...
You're a very objective animal. Am I right?
Let's just say I'm a bird who'll let pretty words roll right off him if they don't have any real meaning.
Our organization is here to help. Mental comfort, but also financial aid. We clothe, we shelter, we feed those in need. You see, in the Hive, we have already set up 4 homeless shelters and 2 orphanages.
Really? That sounds nice. But isn't the Hive dangerous for the poor and needy these days?
And that is why we operate there, Mr. Featherland, to ease tension.
But shouldn't those who are in danger be evacuated?
We don't believe in running away from trouble, Detective. We face it.
Ah, so you're warriors, too.
Only if it's necessary, Mr. Featherland.
Would you say your organization is the cure for the city's illness?
We are not naive, Mr. Featherland. The city's problems are so deep-rooted that they cannot be fixed in just a few years. But we're not afraid to take responsibility. If it takes a decade, it takes a decade, but eventually, Clawville will be something different.
Different? How exactly?
We can go back to our old values, to the dream Clawville was built on. Equality, fellowship, shared fulfillment.
That does sound good. How's it going? Because all I see from here is flames.
Don't be so cynical, Mr. Featherland. Believe me, the signs are there. You just have to look for them.
I'll try, once I've wiped the ashes from my eyes. How's your great healing crusade going?
Unfortunately, we're only treating the symptoms for now, Mr. Featherland. But that's changing.
What do you mean?
We're radically changing the way the animals of this city think. And we've started in the Hive.
Because the desperate are easily radicalized?
Because the desperate need help and guidance the most.
But they don't have much choice, do they?
The city doesn't have a choice, Mr. Featherland. Either let it be overrun by filth, or look to the glory of the past. Brace itself and confront the evil.
Confront? Well, you're just a charity, right? Or you mean the riots?
Violence is not always the answer to violence.
Not always. Is it sometimes?
You, Mr. Featherland, like twisting words beyond recognition, don't you?
Busted, baby. It's my favorite hobby. Have you always been religious?
You mean in my past, as a child?
Exactly.
I was born into a religious family, yes. Although I always found the Clawville common religion rather old-fashioned and shabby. I thought so as a child. I could see that it was not keeping up with the crazy changes in the world.
What are you driving at?
Our religion is a religion of extremes. Destruction and creation. I've always believed that these two extremes do exist and need each other. There is a real middle ground, paved with gold.
Hence the sheep and wolf on your posters. One body with two heads.
The lamb and the wolf living together in the same body is the perfect example of who we are. We are animals. We are savages. But if we recognize and accept ourselves and stop trying to be something we're not, we could become enlightened.
Everyone equal.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
This city was built on that dream, sweetheart. And as I see it, it's rapidly falling apart.
That's exactly why we're here. We want to change that.
How about
the fact that one of the most dangerous and influential gangs has taken up residence in the Hive? Doesn't this harm your ambitions?
You mean the Golden Fang clan?
Their leader, Mick, is an old acquaintance. We took out his boss.
And you should be proud of what you've accomplished, although your actions have set off an avalanche that's accelerated the process.
You think it's our fault the city's run by criminal gangs?
No, not at all. I simply said you accelerated it. A process that was going to happen eventually. For that I am grateful. Thanks in part to you, the church is thriving. If it weren't for you, there wouldn't be so many desperate souls wanting redemption.
I don't know what to make of that.
Be proud of it. You're making your mark, Mr. Featherland. No one can doubt that.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the clan?
Whilst the clan and the Great Web are busy fighting their petty battles, they're not bothering the common folk.
That's a dashingly optimistic statement.
Perhaps. Or maybe it's just practical.
Why do I get the feeling that you're not only King Hector's advisor, but something a little bit more?
Now you're turning tabloid journalist. But yes, as the press have been gossiping for a while now, Hector and I are closely connected.
Oh, that's quite an elegant way of putting it. So you're his mistress.
Perhaps one day I'll be his wife.
That would look pretty good on your resume. 2 years leader of a small church, then queen. Quite a career.
Tell me, Mr. Featherland, based on what we just talked about, do you think I'm such a simple, gold-digging harlot?
Simple? No, I wouldn't say that.
What is surprising about a man and a woman who've worked together closely for a long time, slowly starting to feel something for each other? You've never been in that situation? Or are you in it right now?
Get out of my head.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
I think we are. I think we're done here, although I admit I have more questions than answers.
But you said yourself, this isn't a real interrogation.
It isn't. Basically, we were just having a nice chat.
Whatever you say, Mr. Featherland, and I'm pleasantly surprised.
That's delightful.
Don't you feel the same way?
Oh, I don't judge so hastily, sweetheart. But it was a valuable conversation, that's for sure.
You seem so stiff on the outside. But I think, no, I feel that inside the opposite is true. You're very emotional and vulnerable.
Good to know.
なんか煙に巻かれた気がしますが、今回はここまでにいたしとうございます。ご視聴ありがとうございました。